Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for attending tonight's meeting, and I would like to officially call this meeting to order. Gabe, would you like to lead us? Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And with that, I'd like to go ahead and move forward with roll call.
Okay, Arden Waller. Ingram.
Here.
Santos.
Here.
Williams.
Here.
Kindred Windsor.
Here.
We have a quorum. There are no subsequent need items, so we'll move on to approval of agenda as posted or as amended. Motion to approve agenda as posted or as amended.
A motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, so motion by Kindred Windsor, second by Williams. Arden Waller.
Yes.
Ingram.
Yes.
Santos.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Kindred Windsor.
Yes.
The motion passes. Okay, then we move on to minutes, September 9th, 2025, regular meeting. Motion to approve minutes as listed.
Motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I second.
Okay, motion by Kindred Windsor, second by Ingram. Arden Waller.
Yes.
Ingram.
Yes.
Santos.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Kindred Windsor.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes. So now we'll move on to reports and presentations from staff. First up is verbal financial report by Finance Director Nicholas.
All right, thank you. Good evening, committee, staff, and community. Since we last met, I have a couple brief updates, and before that, I'm going to just direct you to the typical reports that are included ahead of time in your agenda packet. There's two reports, beginning on page 8 of the agenda packet. That's scanned page 8. You'll have the unaudited budget status, and that's revenue and expense, and so that shows you everything for Fund 4, which is the transaction public safety transaction and use tax fund, known as Measure B. And that is unaudited year to date, so for the complete fiscal year of 25-26 from July 1 through current date of printing. The second report that is provided is the accounts payable transaction by account, which are all the accounts payable payments that have been issued from July 1 through publication date for the Measure B fund. And that's a cumulative total, so it'll be everything from July 1. So sometimes, as I've mentioned before, you'll see some repeats on there. And before I move on to updates, if there's any questions on those reports.
I understand that we have 2 new members to this committee. I don't know if there's anything in particular, Anna, that you think that you need to kind of bring to the attention of those that may not have been here the last quarter when we had our meeting, if there were any, anything worth bringing up.
Let's start with if there's any question, after you've reviewed the reports, did you have any specific questions on them? Okay. And then also, Chris and I are always available to meet too, if you ever want to take a deeper dive into the reports, but these two are pretty straightforward. So, but yeah, if you ever want to take a deeper dive. The other thing I will add though, thank you Rosa, is pointing you to the budget, the adopted budget that is available online if you ever have any questions about the adopted spending plan. That's in the budget. We can help you locate that as well.
I do have one just quick question. In regards to this time last year, how's our oversight or Measure B funds looking as far as comparison to last year at this time?
We're looking good. I don't have specific numbers to give you, but because of the guardrails that we put in place in terms of staying within the adopted expenditure plan, we haven't had any overages. The audit is ongoing right now, so I don't have the actual fund balance, but we are projecting a positive fund balance from what we projected going into budget. We don't have any reason to see that we won't be meeting that. And at time when we next meet, I think it's going to be right after budget. Right. Yeah, so we'll have a little bit more definitive numbers for you then.
Perfect, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And so the next couple updates are related to that, so that's a perfect segue into that. Just a couple quick updates. These items aren't actually anything that impacts your duties as the committee, but I think they're good information for you to be aware of. One, since we last met, we took our mid-year budget to council in February. There were no major amendments that were needed for Measure B, other than our interest earnings have been favorable. So we did raise the estimated revenue that we expect to receive from interest earnings, and that's just overall across the board. Interest earnings have been favorable, so that's good. So that helps with that fund balance that we project for next year. And then the second update is we did have a budget workshop last month. We heard the community feedback, and we'll take in all of that. We've talked about it and looked at items that are budgetary items, strategic planning items, and we'll be reporting out at our next budget workshop, March 28th. And with that, that concludes my report.
Now we'll hear from Chief McKeechin.
Hello, committee, and welcome to our new members, Ms. Ardenwalder and Mr. Williams. I have the expenditures other than salary and benefits that we spent in the last. I'm going to do the last 2 quarters since our last meeting was canceled, and I wasn't able to give you guys an update last time. So we have our monthly online reporting system that we pay for monthly. That went up at the beginning of the new year from $960 a month to $988.80 a month. So in the fourth quarter of 2025, we spent $2,908.80 on that. And in quarter one of 26, we've spent $1,977.60. We bought 2, I've spoken to you guys in the past about the Tango radio system that we have so that we can all use our phones when we're outside of the radio coverage. They also sell little handheld radios now, and so we bought 2 of those to test those out and see if they work, so that in the event that the connection on the regular standard traditional radio doesn't work, we can use those instead. So we're testing those. So those are only $598 a piece. So we bought 2 of those for a total of, oh, I'm sorry, $598 was for both of them. They were only 2 something a piece. So we spent $598 on 2 of those radios. Police vehicle leases on our existing leases that, once the leases are paid off, if we choose to keep the cars, we pay like a $30 a month maintenance fee to Enterprise to continue to use the vehicles. So we're getting a really good deal on being able to continue to use those rather than returning them, since they're not at end of life yet. So in quarter 4 of 25, we spent $995.70 on those leases. And quarter 1 of 26, we spent $652.36. Then we had a few one-time purchases in the fourth quarter of 25. We replaced all of our handguns. We went from the Sig Sauer to a Smith & Wesson. We spent $16,312.50 on new handguns, $4,976.40 on the holsters for those handguns, and $8,560.80 for the optic sights on top of those handguns. And that is all of our expenses. Any questions? Yes.
If you could turn your mic on.
Oh, right there.
Yeah.
Are you doing the radios through RIMS, the on your phones, the portables?
No, they're just, it's an app called Tango, and each phone has that app downloaded onto it. And so we can communicate with each other by phone. You just push the talk button on it.
And do all the officers have
Yes.
cell phones now?
Yeah, everyone's issued a department cell phone, so we put the Tango on all of those phones.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
The guns that you replaced, did they have optic sights on them?
They did.
Okay. And these new ones have them as well, but
They do.
okay, what was the reason for replacing the older guns? How old were they?
They actually weren't too old, but there was some reliability issues that came up with that particular model of gun. There was some issues that were happening nationwide, and so a lot of agencies, including us, decided to get out in front of that and switch to a different gun just for safety reasons.
Oh, okay.
See, any other questions? Okay, so now we'll move on to Rural Fire Department update with Cal Fire Battalion Chief Randall.
Committee members, staff, and community members, thank you for the opportunity to provide you this update for your fire department. I'm going to include information for you covering the most two past quarters. The call volume for the end of 2025, Station 41 ran 2,619 calls. So far this year, they've ran 402 calls. Station 42 last year ran a total of 1,687 calls, and this year they're at 269. The total for the city in 2025 was 4,306 responses, and this year we're at 671. In 2025, the Lucas device was utilized 27 times. 5 of those patients that it was used on are still living today. So far in 2026, we've used it twice. For personnel, Firefighter 2 Ricky Flores started on Monday, November 24th. Fire Captain John Reyes joined the city on Monday, December 22nd. And Engineer Cole Frazier starts here on March 16th. We have 1 fire apparatus engineer position vacant. And we have 2 new reserve firefighters going through the training process, bringing our total to 3 reserve firefighters. An operational update, we're still waiting for the Office of the State Fire Marshal's Office to return to conduct their re-inspections for the things that were identified in their life safety inspections that were done at both facilities. The ISO review is underway. All documents and information on behalf of the city have been submitted to the reviewer. An equipment update, the Type 6 was received, upfitted, and placed in service. The Type 1 engine is currently in production and on schedule to be completed in December of this year. Requests have been submitted for build specs of a new aerial quint to replace the existing truck that's ended in the year of its primary response life. Purchases that were made, the first quarter bill for CAL FIRE agreement was paid out of Measure B at a total of $1,413,277.77. The second quarter was paid out of Measure B, also at $1,219,195.56. We purchased replacement airbags at a total of $5,306.55. Rescue training mannequins, $4,173.23. A new portable radio at $2,724.14. The first quarter bill for the county city shared mechanic agreement was paid at $16,738. The second quarter was paid at $15,488.54. The future projects and purchases over the next 3 months, miscellaneous purchasing of equipment or replacement, working on the CAL FIRE contract, and new hose for apparatus that has failed its testing. The Fire Marshal's Office, annual inspections of multifamily complexes, schools, assemblies, and hotels are undergoing. The RFP for weed abatement contractor has been adopted by City Council. Public education and public engagements, some examples are we participated in the National Night Out, fire safety presentations at Fruitland Christian Preschool and Anna's Daycare, Mitchell Senior School Career Day, dispatching communications and auto aid training with Merced City Fire Department, perimeter training with Atwater PD, and the list goes on for 2 pages. So I'll bear you all of the things, but we've been very active in the community. Is there any questions that I can answer, clarifications I can provide?
What is a Lucas apparatus?
The Lucas device is an automatic CPR device. It's strapped to a patient that has no pulse, basically their heart is not working, and it provides consistent, adequate compression to that patient, where personnel have a hard time completing a constant rhythm at the proper depth for each specific patient, and humans get tired. Where
Right.
this machine continues that compression for about 45 minutes, and then we change batteries, and it continues on again.
Oh, okay. The other question too, I know it's not relevant to what we do here, but have you noticed a difference with AMR versus rigs as far as helping you respond or answering the calls that you go to?
The interactions we've had with them so far have been positive. They've actually got an introductory meeting tonight at the Veterans Hall downtown that anyone can attend after this. They've been positive to work with. They brought over a majority of employees from rigs. They've been providing updates to the city council and to me on a regular basis, and we've head off any issues that have happened immediately, and they've ceased to continue.
And their response times are improved?
We haven't looked at the response time data yet. As far as their response affects us and their dispatch, the dispatch and cancel and route to calls have increased over the last 2 months. Our calls have decreased by a little over 100 responses.
Okay.
Just from the dispatch and cancel and route before the fire engine or ladder truck leaves the station.
Okay. Thank you. Hey, thank you.
I had a similar question, Chief Randall, regarding AMR no longer has a post here in the city of Atwater, correct?
They do not have a permanent post where Riggs Ambulance had homes in the community. Their posts revolve based on the response times of other units throughout their response zones. So as units move, they constantly move their ambulances to meet the best response times possible.
Correct, copy. And if you can, please let us know if there is any delays or things like that, as we do sit on other committees for the county that represent the public response. Because I was worried about, I'm not sure if everybody else is aware, but they used to have a post here on right by Foster Freeze. Yeah. And that's up for sale now, and now they're just posted throughout. They do mobile system status plans, so they're constantly moving around. So I'm glad to hear that. I had a similar question that is not affecting, because when I heard the Lucas amounts, you know, those hopefully don't increase because of any lack of responses. The Lucas devices have been proven to be very well as a instructor for EMT and CPR first aid. They've been a great asset. However, you know, we want to make sure we're not just subsidizing Lucas devices for delayed responses on anything.
No, it's we'll definitely keep you appraised to any information that needs to be passed on. And speaking with Director Iniguez, the regional director for AMR, they're not opposed to purchasing resident posts here in the city. They just need to evaluate their data that they have after a specific period of time.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, so other actionable items, committee expenditure review form with City Manager Home.
Yes, thank you. So last year, we implemented a new form. It's for this committee to decide if there are any items that have been expended for Measure B that there's any questions or concerns, comments about. This is an opportunity for the committee, if there is anything to discuss, and if there's a majority that would like those findings to be shared with the city council. I've got a form here that we can fill out, and I would take this form to the next city council meeting to officially, formally report anything that comes up in this meeting.
The only thing that I see on the copy I have is with respects to the members' names, if those could be updated.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. We'll update that form. No problem.
Just a quick comment, City Manager. This is a great form. I just encourage all of our members. I know I do it for myself. Graciela does a great job of getting us the information prior to the meeting. If there are any questions that come up, I always utilize our opportunity to reach out to the either Chief McEaton or Chief Randall, ask the questions, because there's a lot of things that could be vetted out before the form's even filled out by asking good questions, and that's our due diligence. So I just encourage everybody to do that. I've done that since I've started on the committee, and it's worked out really well. And then this is more of a second layer. I look at it as a second layer if there are questions that need to come up and followed up upon. I've used the same approach with community members when they ask or have concerns. As we know, they can come to us with those questions, and they often do. And that's what I try to always do also, is reach out to the respective department heads to gather that information.
Thank you, I really appreciate that. And I think our department heads do as well. So if there's no, if there isn't any action, that's also fine. If there's no, this could be an item that we just move forward with no action if there is none.
Okay, so if there is none, then we'll move on to city manager update.
Okay, thank you. I first want to thank Anna Nicholas, Rich McEachin, and Josh Randall for your reports tonight. That was very helpful and informative. A few general news items. So I'll do a city manager meetup. It's next Monday, March 16th at Agaves, located at 1857 Bellevue Road. This will be at noon, and our new community development director, Johnny Hansen-Land, will join me for that. There's the Atwater Spring Cleanup at 2877 Atwater Boulevard on March 21st from 8 to noon. And please bring your current ID or an Atwater utility bill to that. Next, we have the annual Easter egg hunt located at Veterans Park, which will be on Saturday, March 21st at 10 a.m. and registration is open, so please visit our city website. Our second city budget workshop will be on March 28th at 9 a.m. at the community center. And I'd like to thank committee members Jim Price and Eduardo Perez for their time and service contributing to this committee, and thank you for their service. And also want to thank our two new members, Richard Williams and Karen Arden-Waller. Thank you for being here, and thank you all for being here. This is this volunteer is we couldn't be here without you. So and the city owes you its gratitude. So thank you very much. I wanted to also bring up a question. We used to have these meetings at 5:30 p.m. And we changed it to 6 p.m. But I wanted to just kind of bring this up as a thought of moving it back to 5:30. If there's any opinions on that.
I'm retired, so anytime's fine with me.
I'll make it work if that's the better of the group. We'll make it work.
Okay, so the way that we did it last time, which is similar to how we could change it going forward, is we'd have the next meeting on the same date, but and I'll call with text reminders and everything, but we'd have a special meeting at 5:30 where we'd make it official. Okay, thank you very much.
I will do comments from the public. At this time, any person may comment on any item which is not on the agenda. You may say your name and address for the record. However, it is not required. Action will not be taken on an item that is not on the agenda. If it requires action, it will be referred to staff and or placed on a future agenda. Please limit comments to a maximum of 3 minutes. Okay, if there is no one coming forward, we'll move on to committee matters.
So at this time, this is an opportunity for members of the committee to share any thoughts, questions, opinions, or anything like that. If we'd like to go one by one down the road.
Well, I'll start since I'm new. I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to serve on this committee. Been a resident of Atwater since 1985. My background was a hospital corpsman in the Navy for 5 years. I worked in the state prisons for 20. My wife has been the past, for 12 years, she was on the Parks and Rec Committee. I served on an Oversight Committee back in '95. So, and I was involved with youth sports, so kind of a well-rounded person to see what the community needs are. My family is a big law enforcement background, so I support this measure with my whole heart, and I want to make sure that it's successful. And thank you for allowing me to serve.
Just a quick question for Chief McKeon. I forgot to ask earlier, but budgeted staff positions for your current police department force, how's that looking versus what's currently staffed? And do you have anybody currently in the academy that's in the hiring process?
We have, we're authorized 26 sworn members, and our number 26 will be sworn in 2 days from now on Thursday, so we'll be fully staffed on Thursday.
Perfect, thank you, great news. Thank you so much. Welcome the 2 new members. Appreciate your support. I was the president of the Measure B committee when it was passed. I say it to this day in my 20 plus years of public safety, that is my greatest accomplishment and achievement. And I had several others, but that is my greatest. To have a measure passed during those time frames with those type of constraints that we had in very hard times is definitely the work of great community members going out door to door. So that's why I'm here. I want to make sure that we're supporting our police department, fire department, which in turn supports public works and everybody else, because we're shifting that deficit. So I'm a firm believer in the public safety here in the city of Atwater. I've worked in public safety for the majority of my career, and I still work for the state in a safety realm. My family is born and raised here, and I plan on staying here. Just like I'm not retired yet, but I'll be there someday. But been here for 22 years. My family and I have multiple properties throughout the city of Atwater, and my kids go to school here, and we're not going anywhere. So I always leave my phone open and my door open for any questions that come up as I'm out in the community. My wife works in the community also here locally. So we do often, the individuals remember the face when we went door to door, and I always welcome any questions that they have. I do want to apologize for not making the last meeting, but it's glad to see full seats. I work out of town, so sometimes getting back here is a challenge with traffic, but I will definitely make sure for the 5:30, welcome new members and appreciate the updated reports. And I cannot emphasize enough, sometimes when we look at these reports, it's overwhelming. We don't know what codes are and different things, but I can honestly say that I've never had an issue with reaching out to city manager, finance director, or even, if it's public works, doesn't matter, it's not part of Measure B, but I've always had a quick response, and that's a reflection, from the top down. So I always appreciate that, and I always appreciate the community if they have questions. I look at myself as a vetting, certain things that maybe aren't as factual information that's going out. So, and if it is something that needs to be corrected, we get it corrected and shifted back. So the forum is a great opportunity. Hope we never have to use it. Good communication, I think, will eliminate. But it is a great forum to have. Appreciate everybody and welcome. Thank you.
I want to say thank you for giving me this opportunity. I retired in 2024 reluctantly from 38 years in law enforcement. I worked as a dispatcher, and my last 6 years were in administration. I really didn't want to retire, but I had some health problems and forced me to retire. I'm not quite used to it yet, but I want to be involved in the city. I like being involved and coming out and meeting people and getting to know things. And I'm looking forward to this. And I do live here in town too, since '78, so I've been here a long time.
Thank you. Well, again, welcome. We appreciate your taking this opportunity to be engaged in the community. I too would like to thank both Mr. Price and Mr. Perez for their service as well. We do at times have some good conversations up here, so I do encourage that. It's always been done in a professional way. So please, if there's ever an opportunity or a time when things just doesn't sound right, regardless of who's doing the reporting, please speak up, because it's the only way this committee can get any real work done. For those at home or in the public audience that is interested in knowing more about the community, I do encourage everyone to get engaged. The City of Atwater has a lot of various committees and commissions and other opportunities for engagement. Rather than complaining, get engaged. Some committees meet once a month, some once a quarter, some, once a year, whatever it takes to get the work done. So there's a little something for everyone to get, fit in to this community. So again, thank you to both Karen and Richard for stepping up and keeping the sense of freshness and newness with this committee. As this community continues to grow and evolve, we need new people, new minds, new opinions, and new visions. So I think that this committee is one that can not only ensure that our tax dollars are being spent the way we voted for them to be spent, but also an opportunity for members of the community to be engaged with those processes and hopefully move on forward to other committees and commissions as well. So thank you.
So the meeting will be adjourned 6:31.